Life often unfolds in ways we cannot predict, and promises made in moments of vulnerability can bind us forever. Sometimes, the past we forget holds the key to the future we desperately fear. The choices we deny may still shape our destiny, revealing secrets that challenge trust, love, and courage. When fate places a stranger in the role of a partner, reality blurs with uncertainty. A single decision can ignite a cascade of emotions, from fear to desire, from confusion to clarity. In the labyrinth of unexpected vows, hearts are tested, and true intentions are slowly unveiled. She woke to sunlight piercing through velvet curtains, her fingers brushing against something cold and metallic on her left hand. A ring, not just any ring, a wedding ring. Panic clawed at her chest as she glanced around, heart hammering, realizing she was not alone in the luxurious suite. The papers on the nightstand caught her eye. A contract, its formal language blurring under her trembling hands. She had signed a tour, so it seemed. Her mind raced, fragments of memory refusing to form a coherent picture. Who had she agreed to marry, and why could she not remember? A deep voice shattered her panic.calm yet commanding. "Good morning. I see you've noticed." She spun around, eyes wide, confronting a man whose presence alone demanded obedience and curiosity. His tailored suit clung perfectly to a frame that seemed carved from stone. Who are you?" she managed, voice shaking. The room seemed to shrink around her, tension thickening with every heartbeat. He smiled faintly, a glint of mischief or menace dancing in his eyes, making it impossible to discern if she was in danger or in fate's delicate trap. "You already know me," he said smoothly, sliding closer. "The ring, the contract, your choices have been made. And yet, here you are, questioning everything as if the truth can be ignored." Her stomach turned. The reality was both terrifying and magnetic. She tried to pull away, but a soft, relentless pressure kept her rooted to the plush carpet. This isn't real. "I don't remember any of this," she whispered, desperation in every syllable. Yet, the certainty in his eyes suggested that forgetting did not erase commitment. "You signed, willingly," he said, voice low, almost intimate. "Perhaps you think memory defines consent, but some decisions survive forgetting. Some vows linger beyond comprehension, waiting to test courage and desire alike." He circled her slowly, eyes sharp, studying every reaction. Her thoughts collided violently. A stranger's claim to her life, her vows, and her future it was absurd. And yet, absurdity had never felt so threatening, so exhilarating, wrapped in his presence and the unspoken tension that filled the room like electricity. Every instinct screamed to flee, but curiosity chained her to the moment. She studied him, heart pounding, aware of every subtle gesture, every calculated smile, every deliberate inch he closed the distance between them. Fear and fascination waged a silent war in her chest. "You don't remember, but your heart might," he murmured. "Feelings cannot be signed away on paper. They grow in spite of reason, in spite of memory, and they will guide you toward truths you've denied." The implication sent a shiver down her spine. Her eyes fell on the contract again, trembling hands tracing the elegant script she could not recall writing. Fear battled intrigue, a storm raging inside her. This stranger had orchestrated a reality she could not yet understand, yet the pull toward him was undeniable, dangerous, intoxicating. "Why me?" she demanded, voice cracking. "Why a stranger? Why this madness?" The question hung in the air, thick with tension, unanswered. His gaze did not waver, as though the answer existed in the space between them, unspoken yet undeniable. "Because destiny," he said finally, almost reverently, "sometimes prefers audacity over caution. And in your audacity you will find courage, desire, and perhaps the willingness to embrace what cannot be undone." The words wrapped around her both a promise and a threat. Her pulse raced. The luxurious suite suddenly felt like a gilded cage, each shadow and reflection a reminder of choices she could not recall making. Yet the cage was gilded in desire, curiosity, and the intoxicating uncertainty of a life rewritten overnight. He extended a hand, slow, deliberate, and commanding. "Step forward," he said. "Embrace the unexpected. Learn the story your memory refuses to tell." Every instinct screamed danger, yet the warmth of his hand promised something irresistible, an invitation to surrender to mystery. She hesitated, mind spinning. Every rational thought battled the magnetic pull of this stranger's presence. And yet, as she reached toward him, her fingers trembling, a spark of forbidden curiosity ignited. Perhaps surrender was not weakness, but the first step toward discovery. The ring on her finger caught the sunlight, gleaming as if mocking her hesitation. It was more than metal. It was a symbol, a challenge, and an enigma wrapped in gold. Her reflection in the mirror seemed unfamiliar, a stranger herself in a story she did not recall authoring. His eyes followed her every movement, patient yet insistent. "Every story begins with a choice," he murmured. "You can resist, you can flee, but every step you take is already part of the narrative we've begun together." The idea was terrifying, and yet thrilling beyond comprehension. A sudden knock at the door broke the spell. Her heartbeat spiked. The intruding presence hinted at secrets beyond this room, beyond this strange man. Questions multiplied, alliances, enemies, unknown forces weaving into the fragile fabric of her new reality. He did not move to answer. Instead, he let the suspense linger, eyes dark, commanding, almost dangerous. The tension was suffocating yet intoxicating, and she realized every second with him was a tested challenge to her courage, her wit, and perhaps her heart. She stepped closer, compelled by both fear and fascination. "I don't understand," she admitted, voice soft, trembling. "How am I supposed to navigate this?" He tilted his head, eyes glinting. "You navigate by feeling, by instinct, and by daring to confront the truth your memory hides from you." The contract felt heavier in her hands now, as though infused with power beyond ink and paper. It was a tether to this stranger. 2 choices she could not remember, yet it drew her forward, demanding engagement, surrender, and perhaps dangerous understanding. "Do you trust me?" he asked suddenly, voice low, intimate, and frighteningly gentle. The question hung in the air, impossible to ignore. Trust was a luxury, yet something in his gaze made her consider it, despite every warning, every instinct screaming caution. Her lips parted, uncertain, but the words caught in her throat. Trust felt forbidden, yet necessary. And in that suspended moment, she sensed the fragile line between fear and desire, between danger and the thrill of an unexpected connection. "You will learn," he whispered, "that fear and longing often travel hand in hand, guiding us to truths we cannot avoid. Your journey has begun, whether you remember signing or not." Every word was a spark, igniting a fire she could neither resist nor deny. She sank onto the edge of the bed, head spinning, heart racing. The luxury around her felt surreal, like a dream she could not escape. Yet, the intensity of his gaze, the promise of secrets, and the danger intertwined with desire rooted her in a reality she could not yet comprehend. Her hand brushed the ring again, cold, gleaming, irresistible. It bound her, yes, but also beckoned. And in its weight, in its shimmer, she understood the delicate balance between choice, fate, and the undeniable pull of a stranger who might just hold the key to everything she had lost and might yet find. She tried to recall anything, faces, voices, moments, but her memory was a haze, fragments of laughter and blurred shadows. The contract and the ring were all that anchored her, symbols of a life she didn't remember choosing yet could not escape. He moved closer again, deliberate.com, as if he knew the storm inside her. "Memories are fragile, but consequences are not. You may have forgotten, but you cannot deny what binds you now," he said, his voice threading between warning and invitation. The chandeliers glittered above, casting fractured light on his sharp features, making him seem at once unreal and undeniably present. She shivered, torn between fear and fascination, trapped in a room where reality felt pliable, as if it could be molded by his gaze. A knock at the door startled her again, her pulse leaped. Who else could be involved in this twisted narrative? He didn't move to answer. Instead, he simply watched her, letting suspense tighten the air like a drawn bowstring. "I want answers," she whispered. "I need to know why, and how, and who." Her words trembled, revealing desperation she hadn't expected. His eyes softened for a fleeting second, a shadow of empathy or manipulation it was impossible to tell. "You will know," he said, voice low, almost intimate. "But first you must survive this morning with your courage intact. Curiosity will be your ally, fear your guide, and desire your test." His words wrapped around her, a riddle she could not yet solve. She glanced at the contract again, her fingers brushing over the ink. The signatures felt foreign, yet permanent, as though a different version of herself had made irrevocable decisions. Each line was a tether, pulling her into a reality she could neither deny nor fully grasp. The sunlight shifted, catching the facets of the ring, making it gleam like a warning. She lifted her hand, staring at it, wondering if it held power or punishment or both. Its cold weight anchored her to a life she didn't remember, and yet couldn't resist exploring. He sat on the edge of the sofa, posture relaxed, but the tension radiating from him was palpable. "You are already part of this story," he murmured. "Resisting is a choice, but it will not erase the inevitable. Every step you take will reveal truths you never imagined." A door creaked in the distance, shadows shifting with each sound. She flinched, realizing the suite was not as empty as it seemed. Secrets lurked in corners, waiting to unravel, and she could not ignore the sense that every moment here was a test of wit and will. He rose suddenly, walking toward the window backlit by the morning sun. "Life is full of contracts we don't read carefully, decisions we forget, and consequences that endure. You signed whether you remember or not. That is reality, and reality is unforgiving." Her voice trembled as she asked, "And what about love? Can it be real if memory refuses to recognize it?" He turned slowly, eyes glinting. "Love often exists beyond memory. It thrives in moments, choices, and inevitabilities we cannot control. You may feel it even before you understand it." She sank onto the chaise head in her hands. The luxury of the suite felt suffocating, a gilded cage full of promises, danger, and questions. Every shadow seemed alive, every glimmer of light, a hint of the unknown forces shaping this unexpected marriage. "I don't know if I can trust you," she admitted, voice low. "Everything is too strange." His gaze softened, yet remained commanding. Trust is not given lightly, but fear and attraction are stronger guides than logic when navigating uncertainty. The room felt charged. Every glance, every shift of posture, magnified intention. Her breath quickened, heart pounding like a drumbeat against ribs. He seemed to know, anticipate every reaction, every tremor of emotion, making the entire experience dizzying, overwhelming, yet strangely compelling. A sudden knock echoed again, louder this time, closer. Her pulse spiked. He did not answer immediately. Instead, he let the suspense linger, watching her reaction, testing her patience, her composure, and perhaps the depth of her curiosity. "You are tangled in a story larger than yourself," he said, walking closer. "The past you've forgotten, the choices you've made, and the vows you've signed, they are threads pulling you forward. Escape is impossible, but understanding is achievable, if you dare." Her eyes darted around the suite, searching for clues. Everything was luxurious, pristine, yet held hidden hints, photographs, notes, subtle gestures suggesting a life she might have lived, but could not recall. The puzzle pieces existed, but the image was incomplete. "You feel disoriented," he said, almost reading her mind. "That is intentional. The unknown is a crucible. Only by stepping forward, by confronting uncertainty, will you find clarity. And clarity is not always comforting. It is powerful, dangerous, necessary." Her fingers brushed the ring again, its cold weight anchoring her to a reality she did not choose. Yet, curiosity ignited within her a need to uncover the truth, to confront the stranger who held both answers and questions, danger and desire, in equal measure. She stood slowly, heart racing. "What do you want from me?" she asked, voice quivering but determined. He smiled faintly, enigmatic. "To guide you, to test you, to see if you can embrace what fate has thrust upon you without losing yourself or surrendering entirely." The sunlight shifted, painting him in gold and shadow, enhancing the aura of mystery. She could not tell if she was drawn to him or repelled, frightened or exhilarated. Every instinct battled every emotion, leaving her dizzy, aware that nothing in her past prepared her for this. "You may resist," he murmured, stepping closer, "but resistance is part of the journey. Your curiosity, your fear, your longing, they are the keys. They will unlock doors to truths you have hidden, even from yourself." Her gaze fell on the contract again, and she felt the weight of inevitability pressing down. Paper and ink could not hold memories, yet they held power binding, challenging, and seductive. She realized her life had changed forever, whether she accepted it or not. "Do you feel it?" he asked softly, almost intimately, as if reading her soul. "The pull of something greater than yourself, something dangerous, intoxicating, unavoidable. That is the story we've begun, and there is no turning back." She closed her eyes for a brief moment, trying to steady herself. Fear, anticipation, and desire churned together like a storm. The stranger's presence dominated the room, and she understood that her life had been rewritten overnight, an unexpected vow, now anchoring her to the unknown. Her mind raced with questions, fragments of a past she could not recall colliding with the vivid reality in front of her. Every glance from him stirred a mix of fear and fascination, leaving her unsure where danger ended and desire began. "You wonder why this happened," he said, voice smooth, confident. "Some truths cannot be revealed at once. Patience is cruel, but necessary. Your mind will piece together fragments when the moment is right, and until then, trust or at least curiosity must guide you." She sank onto the sofa, trembling, aware that each breath she took was laced with tension. The luxurious suite felt both comforting and suffocating, like a stage for a story she hadn't written but was now forced to live. The ring on her finger glinted under the sunlight, a symbol she could not yet fully comprehend. It was both a bond and a key, a reminder of promises made and consequences waiting to unfold. Each moment felt charged, as if destiny itself had drawn her into this intricate web. "I never asked for this," she whispered, voice raw, "and yet here I am." His eyes softened, revealing something fleeting, almost human beneath the calculated exterior. "Fate rarely asks permission," he replied. "It simply unfolds, and those caught in it must decide whether to fight, flee, or surrender." Her heartbeat quickened as he approached, deliberate, measured. "Surrender does not mean weakness," he said softly. "Sometimes, it is the only way to discover strength, passion, and truths we dare not face when standing alone." Every instinct screamed caution, yet every fiber of her being was drawn to him. The air between them was electric, heavy with unspoken promises, dangerous possibilities, and the thrill of a story she had yet to understand. A knock at the door interrupted the tension, a reminder that the world outside this suite existed, yet seemed distant, irrelevant. Who else might be part of this narrative? Allies, enemies, or merely witnesses to a contract neither of them fully controlled? He did not move immediately, letting the suspense linger, heightening her anxiety and curiosity in equal measure. "Some doors open only when the heart dares to confront what lies beyond," he murmured, enigmatic, his gaze holding her in a delicate, intoxicating trap. Her fingers traced the edge of the contract again, feeling the weight of irrevocable choices. Each line of text hinted at power, temptation, and secrets she could not yet recall. The paper was more than a legal document. It was a tether to a life rewritten in shadow and light. "You are tangled in something larger than yourself," he said, approaching slowly. "A story written in moments you do not remember, yet feel in every pulse, every breath. The past may be hidden, but its echoes shape the present, and your future cannot be ignored." She swallowed hard, torn between fear and the magnetic pull of his presence. Each word he spoke ignited a curiosity she could not suppress, a hunger to uncover truths buried beneath the veil of forgotten memories and unspoken promises. "Do you feel it?" he asked, voice low, intimate. "The tension, the danger, the thrill. That is the story we are weaving together, thread by thread, choice by choice. And it is only just beginning." Her gaze fell to the window, sunlight glinting on the city below. Everything outside seemed distant, irrelevant, as if the suite had become its own universe, where only he, she, and the invisible threads of the contract mattered. "I don't know if I can do this," she admitted, voice shaking. "I don't know if I can trust you, or even myself." His eyes softened for a brief moment. "Trust is a journey, not a gift," he said. "And sometimes, surrendering to the unknown is the first step toward finding oneself." The room felt charged, every glance, every subtle movement amplified in intensity. Her pulse raced, awareness sharpened as if danger and desire existed in the same breath, inseparable yet thrillingly unpredictable. Her fingers lingered on the ring, cold, gleaming, heavy with meaning. It symbolized a past she could not recall and a future she could not yet predict. And yet, the pull toward him, toward the story unfolding around them, was impossible to resist. "Why me?" she asked, voice barely audible. "Why involve me in all of this?" He leaned closer, gaze intense, calculating. "Because some stories require the unexpected. Some vows are not meant to be easy, and some hearts, when tested, reveal truths that memory cannot conceal." Her eyes darted to the contract, feeling its silent weight pressing upon her. Each word seemed alive, whispering promises, dangers, and secrets. She understood that this was no ordinary binding. It was a labyrinth, and the only way out or forward was through. "You will face choices," he continued, voice calm yet commanding. "Moments where fear, desire, and curiosity collide. Each decision will illuminate the truths hidden from memory, and perhaps reveal a part of yourself you never knew existed." Her breath caught, chest tight. The luxury around her felt surreal, a stage for a story that was both intoxicating and terrifying. Every flicker of light, every shadow, seemed purposeful, guiding her toward revelations she was not yet prepared to face. He stepped closer, deliberate, measuring her reactions. "Every vow has power, even those made without memory, and every bond once formed shapes the story whether we accept it or resist. You are bound, willingly or not, to this journey." Her gaze fell to the contract once more. The words seemed to pulse, alive with intent, daring her to challenge, understand, or surrender. The ring burned against her skin, a constant reminder that her life had changed irrevocably and that curiosity was both a compass and a trap. "You may not understand now," he said softly, "but the truth is patient. It waits for the moment you are ready to face it, and until that moment arrives, every glance, every word, every touch is part of the journey toward understanding." Her fingers trembled, brushing the ring, feeling the weight of inevitability. Fear and desire collided, creating a storm she could neither resist nor fully comprehend. And in that storm, she realized that the stranger before her held both answers and temptations she could not yet name. She could no longer deny the pull between them. Every glance, every subtle movement, every unspoken word seemed charged with intention. Fear and fascination intertwined, leaving her breathless, caught in a tension that was impossible to untangle. "Do you trust yourself?" he asked, voice low, almost intimate. She hesitated, feeling the weight of every choice she hadn't made yet somehow lived. I don't know," she admitted. "Then begin by trusting this moment," he whispered, stepping closer, the air between them electric. The city below sparkled, unaware of the drama unfolding high above. She realized her life had been rewritten overnight. The contract, the ring, the stranger, they were all threads pulling her into a story she could neither refuse nor fully understand. "Every memory you've lost," he murmured, "exists in echoes. And some truths reveal themselves only when you're ready. Your fear, your curiosity, and even your desire are guides through a labyrinth you didn't know you entered." She felt a shiver run down her spine, drawn to him despite every warning her mind screamed. His presence was intoxicating, dangerous, and mesmerizing. Each step he took toward her heightened the tension, threading temptation and peril together seamlessly. Her fingers brushed the ring again, cold, unyielding, yet alive with meaning. It bound her, tethered her, and tempted her curiosity. Every heartbeat seemed to echo the promise of secrets waiting to be unveiled, truths lingering in shadows she could not yet explore. "Why am I here?" she whispered, voice trembling. "Because some stories demand audacity," he replied, voice smooth, commanding. "And some hearts, when tested, discover strength, courage, and desire they never knew existed. This is your crucible, your awakening." She realized that fear and longing were intertwined. guiding her toward revelations she had no control over. Every breath felt electric, every glance fraught with tension, and every moment she spent with him pulled her deeper into a reality she hadn't chosen yet could not resist. "Do not resist curiosity," he said softly. "It is the compass that will navigate you through uncertainty, uncovering truths that memory may have hidden. And in that process, you may find yourself or someone else entirely." Her pulse quickened as he moved closer, the distance closing with deliberate patience. The luxury of the suite seemed to dissolve, leaving only the two of them, a charged space where fear, desire, and anticipation collided in the most intoxicating way. She struggled to find words, caught between defiance and fascination. "And what if I fail?" she asked softly. His gaze softened, yet remained commanding. "Failure is part of discovery. Every misstep uncovers another truth, another layer, and every layer draws you closer to what you cannot yet imagine." The contract felt heavier in her hands now, almost alive, whispering secrets, challenges, and promises. The ring glinted, radiant and unyielding. She understood that she was tethered, caught in a story that would demand courage, daring, and perhaps surrender. He reached for her hand, gently, but with intent. "You cannot undo what has begun," he murmured, "but you can embrace it, explore it, and perhaps even love it. Every step forward is a choice, and every choice will reveal who you are meant to become." She took a shaky breath, allowing herself a moment to absorb the reality. The stranger before her held danger and desire in equal measure, and in that balance, she felt the thrill of uncertainty, the allure of secrets, and the pull of a story she was now part of. "Why me?" she asked again, almost to herself. "Because only the unexpected can awaken what is hidden," he replied, voice low, magnetic. "And some vows, even forgotten, hold the power to change everything. You are alive to feel it, to discover it, to live it." Her eyes fell to the ring, shining with a cold, persistent light. She felt its weight, its meaning, and the undeniable pull toward him. Each second was a choice, each heartbeat a reminder that her life had been irrevocably altered. He moved closer, closing the final space between them. "Do you feel it?" He whispered, "the story, the danger, the possibility. Everything you've avoided, waiting to embrace you. That is the gift and the test of unexpected vows." Her breath caught as she looked into his eyes, recognizing a storm, a challenge, and a promise. Fear, curiosity, and longing swirled inside her, leaving her suspended between resistance and surrender, reality and temptation. A soft laugh escaped her lips, nervous yet electrified. "This is madness," she murmured. He smiled, enigmatic, magnetic. "Madness is the birthplace of discovery, passion, and truth. And sometimes, it is the only way to uncover what the heart has forgotten." The suite seemed to pulse with energy, charged by their shared tension. Every shadow, every glint of light, every heartbeat was a note in a symphony she was only beginning to understand, one composed of risk, desire, and revelation. She stepped closer, drawn by forces she couldn't explain. "I don't know if I can," she admitted. "You can," he said softly, voice like a caress. "And perhaps, in trying, you will discover what you never imagined existed inside yourself. And with me." The city below faded into insignificance as she surrendered to the moment, feeling the storm of fear and attraction entwining them. It was dangerous, intoxicating, and utterly real, a dance between past and present, memory and desire. Her hand found his, and the warmth, the pressure, the inevitability of it all grounded her. The ring glinted, a silent witness to promises made, forgotten, yet alive, tethering her to a story that was only beginning to reveal its depths. He leaned closer, lips inches from hers. "Every vow, even unexpected, has power," he murmured. "And some power is only realized when hearts dare to feel, surrender, and embrace the unknown." Her pulse raced, breath shallow, emotions tangled in exquisite confusion. She realized that fear and longing were inseparable, and that the story of their union, contract, ring, and stranger was only just beginning to ignite. In that suspended electric moment, she understood. Some vows cannot be undone, some choices cannot be forgotten, and some encounters unexpected, mysterious, irresistible, rewrite the course of a life forever. And as their hands entwined, the city below, oblivious, she felt a thrill unlike any other. The beginning of a marriage neither remembered nor expected, yet burning with possibility, danger, and desire beyond imagination.